Hello, Robbie Susan Chandler here, an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator from Quincy, Florida, right outside Tallahassee, Florida. I'm here today to share a beautiful Christmas card with you made with the Night Divine dies. And it's a beautiful card. And this is the way it looks laying down. It actually stands up like this, so it's a standing card. You put your sentiment on the back. And here's a look from the side. And then when it's standing up, this is what you see. And you're thinking, oh, that looks complicated. But no, I'm here to uncomplicate this card for you and show you how to make it. So let's get started. First, let's look at our card base. And we'll use a 5.5 by 4 1/4 piece of Night of Navy. And then on top of that, we're going to layer a piece of gold foil that's 5 3/8 by 4 1/8. And then on top of that, we have the Shining Brightly DSP, and this piece is 4 by 5 1/4. And I'm going to show you some other choices with this piece. Now with your gold piece, you're going to think that looks like a lot of waste of that. But here's a hint. When you get ready to cut out your Mary and Joseph and your shepherd and your animals and all that out of your gold foil, just cut them out of the middle of this piece. And then you'll still have your border around the edge to show. So that's a good way to not waste your gold foil. And as you can see here, the Night Divine dies are the ones I use to cut the stable in a minute, and all the animals and Mary and Joseph and the baby and the wise men and shepherds. Okay, so now one more piece we'll need, and we'll get to it in a minute, but it's another piece of Night of Navy, 7.5 by 4 1/4 inches, and it's scored at 3/4 inch, 1.5 inches, 2 1/4 inches, and 3 inches from each end. But I'll go over that piece in a minute. But I want to go back to these pieces. Now once you layer it, I ran into a problem in my classes where I didn't have enough of this paper to go around because there was only one sheet in pack, and we were making 2 of each of these cards, so that really presented a problem because I would have had to buy several packs of paper. So that piece actually came from this set, and this is called Shining Brightly Special Designer Paper, and it's in our Christmas catalog. So that sheet's in there, but also in that pack is this piece, which looks very similar, but obviously it has a very vanilla background instead of Night of Navy. But I'm going to show you what to do to that piece in just a minute. Another option is from this pack of paper. And if you look at the sample, I actually have on this one this piece. Now, the reason you're looking at this card is because this is a card one of my customers made in class, and she accidentally switched out my sample and took it home with her. So to make this video, I'm having to use hers, which used this paper because we didn't have enough of the other to go around, so we had to start substituting some other papers. And I'm going to remake that card. She's going to bring it back to me, but after this video is over, I'm going to remake the card with the gold piece that I like, this one right here, with this piece, and I'll pop it in at the end of my video. But you see the difference when you put that piece in there. I really like this piece better, and this one's pretty too. Okay, so let me show you. Oh, and another piece that could go back there, which we're going to use on this card, is this piece that's in this pack. So there's several pieces in this pack that could be substituted, and this pack is the Oh Holy Night designer paper. So let me show you how I converted this piece to look like my Night of Navy piece. And it's not going to look exactly, but it's going to be close. So first get a block, and I'm changing my direction a little bit from what I did in my classes. But get a block and put you some Night of Navy re-inker on it. What we did in class, we actually used the ink pad and a baby wipe. And what happened as the baby wipe started breaking down, we were getting fibers on my ink pad. And then when we used the ink pad to stamp up a stamp, to ink up a stamp, the fibers were coming off on the stamp, causing all these funny looking hairy things on our stamp. So we had to quit doing that. In fact, I ended up getting some Scotch tape and running it across my ink pad to try to get most of the fibers off. So take your baby wipe, ink it up really good, and just start swiping across. In fact, I think this works better with the re-inker on here because I can get a darker look, and that obviously is not going to be enough, so let's add some more. But you see where we're going with this? There we go. I'm not going to put the lid back on in case we need some more. And just swipe across. Swipe across. And go back and hit that spot. Get down to the bottom and swipe across. And we're almost there. See, that did not take any time at all. And I want to even out this bottom. Let's get a little more ink and swipe. And you'll get a more even look if you just start on one side and go right straight across. Don't try to stop in the middle. Just make sure you're going right straight across to the other side. And if you feel like that side's darker, start on that side and come back. Okay, ooh, I'm very happy with the way that one turned out. In fact, I think that one turned out better than any of the ones we did in class. Okay, look at that. Now let's look at the original. And see, there's not a whole lot of difference. Isn't that cool? Just take a piece of very vanilla paper and change it into Night of Navy. Hey, I hope you'll try that on some others, and just think of the possibilities with that you could do. All different other colors you could add. So now that we've done that, let's move on to the next step. So we have, in fact, this is the piece that I used in class. And as you can see, I think I like the one we just did better because it's a little bit darker, but this will dry a little bit lighter. So here's I've already put all the pieces together. And this is the piece I did on the back, and it's 4 by 5 1/4. And it is stamped in Versamark and embossed in gold. And this is the star I used from Stars of Night. And then I used Merry Christmas to You from Holly Jolly Wishes, which unfortunately is retired, but I'm sure you have a wonderful sentiment in your stash somewhere. So that piece just goes on the back along with this gorgeous ribbon right here. This is the Night of Navy gold ribbon that it's also called glitter ribbon. If you can see, it's got the gold glitter in it. Isn't that pretty? Love that ribbon. Okay, so I just adhered it around this piece just like this. I put my adhesive on the back and then stuck it down to the back of my Night of Navy card base. All right, so we have this piece ready. Now let's work on our base. And that's important. So this is the piece I want to go back to that I said is 7 1/2 by 4 1/4, and it's scored 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, and 3. Same thing here, 3/4, 1 1/2, 2 1/4, 3. So let's see what we do to this now that we've got it scored and cut. So start at one end. Let me get my little bone folder. And you just want, oh, one step I'm about to forget. One thing you have to do after you cut it, you've got to cut just a sliver, what I call a sliver, but it's like a 1/16 of an inch off of each end. Because if you don't, when you roll it up into the little box we're going to roll it into, the box won't lay flat. Excuse me, it'll be more at an angle. All right, so back to scoring and burnishing. And just roll it, and roll it, and one more time. And let's start at the other end. Okay, so now we've got this little rolled up looking thing. So as you can see what's happening here, these each roll up into a little box, just like that. Now I found the best thing to do is to put your adhesive right here and right here. And that way when you roll this over, it'll roll right onto that glue. And right onto that glue. And of course I have one I've already glued together, and here it is. Now don't glue your center together yet because you've got to put some items down in there. You don't want to glue it together. So now this piece is going to be adhered to your back piece. And make sure you've got it right side up. You don't want to do it like this. So adhere that to the bottom. Now, one hint, make sure that this piece is a little bit higher than the base, because if you put it lower like that, your card's going to want to tilt forward and not stand up. So it either needs to be absolutely even, or the base should be maybe a hair sliver below your background piece. So let me put that right there so you can see right there. All right, so I've got that done right here. And here I'm using a different background piece. I like this one too. I like the darkness of it. And I went on and put my little Mary and Joseph back there. And one thing I did do on this one is we have black dimensionals. And when you're working on Night of Navy, the black's nice. So the first thing I had to do was cut my stable. And I cut 2 of those, and I glued both of them together, just like that. And then I made my star from the Stars at Night, cut it out of gold foil. I adhered one right on top of the other with a dimensional. And then right in the middle of that, I put one of these little glossy dot assortment jewels. So that makes our star. And I went on and put my star on my stable. Now the stable has these little feet that are pretty wide like that. Well, I found out that if you use the whole thing, when you get ready to fold your card up, your stable goes up above the top of your card. So we had to cut a little bit, not a lot, but I cut like about half of that off. So now we're going to adhere our stable, and I'm going to put the glue on the back because I want to glue it to the back side of this base here. So we're going to slip it in here and just kind of press it down. And to test it, I can fold it like that and see it's just right at the right spot. Yep, I think I like it there. I would like it a hair over, but let's see if it'll scoot. There we go. All right. And see, it's just right at the top, so it's perfect. So like I said, you just glue that to the back section. Now we need to put in the camel. And here's a hint on the camel. You need to make sure you get his feet right down inside that crack, just a little bit, because if you don't, his feet will curl up. I don't know how many of you have seen a camel with curled up feet, but it's not a pretty sight. So let's just stick him here. Might have gotten my glue not quite where I wanted it, but all right, see, I've just barely got his feet down in the inside there, and you're going to have to glue him to the stable wall there. Oh, look, I got a little piece there that didn't get poked out. There we go. Oh, and he came off. Okay, let's stick him back on. All right. Stay there, camel. Okay, now on the other side we have a little sheep and a wise man. So we want to adhere him just to the edge of this. And he's going to go right down at the, I hope I didn't get my head in the camera, right there at the edge of that. And it wouldn't hurt if he was just a hair down in the crack too, so he won't curl up. And then we're going to put our little sheep, and I'm just going to put some glue right on his back end there. And we're going to glue him right there in front of the, well, this is actually the wise man over here, but I guess the sheep came over to see what the wise man was up to. All right, let's make sure you stay. This foil takes a minute or two to glue, the glue to dry. There we go. And now let's look at our shepherd here. And we're going to put him down here on the front. And I'm just going to glue him. I'm not going to use dimensionals. I want him just to lay flat right here. And I'm going to put him over a little bit in front of the camel. And then in front of him I have this cow. And I used a black dimensional on him. And I'm going to put him right down in front of the shepherd. Just like that. And on the other side we have this donkey. And he's just laying down here, just watching all the excitement. Saying, well, I brought her here just so she could have this baby. I might as well just sit here and rest for a minute. So he goes right there. Now look at there. How hard was that? And there's our card. And it folds up, fits in an envelope, fold it back down. And see, now you can compare these two backgrounds, but I'm going to make another quick video in just a second and just show you how it looks with the third background. So there's my card. I hope you'll try this card. It's a really beautiful card. Makes what I call a mantelpiece card that you can just sit there and look at during Christmas. Please like this video and subscribe to my channel. And to subscribe, all you need to do is just click on my picture right down there in the bottom right corner, and it'll pop up a little box that says subscribe. So if you have any questions, please drop them down in the comments. I'll be glad to answer them. And there's a link below for the complete instructions. And also a link to my blog. And until next time, happy crafting. Hey, I'm back. Okay, I completed the third card, and it's the one in the middle. So now you can see the difference in the three backgrounds. And when I was putting this card together, I remembered one step I forgot to tell you guys. You got to put your glue down in here. So I decided to show you on this card. If your glue will come out. So just put your glue down in here, and you kind of want to get those camel's feet too. Just kind of dab in there, and then just squeeze these together and just kind of hold them. Put your fingers in the, you can't see it, but put your fingers in the, oh, why can't I get that right? There we go. Put your fingers in the hole of the little boxes and just kind of squeeze that for a minute. But you see here we have the one with the gold stars in the background. Isn't that pretty? I love that one. I think this one's my favorite. But you tell me, which one's your favorite? You can see this one still folds right up, just like that. All right, do you like one with the scattered stars and some splots? Do you like two with all the gold stars? Or do you like three, one with a really dark background and lots of stars? It's kind of like going to the eye doctor, isn't it? One or two? Two or three? And you're like, oh, am I going to say the wrong number and end up with bad glasses? Anyway, I'm off on a different subject here. So these are the three different types of background you can get for this very same card. So like I said, I hope you like this card and we'll try it. And until we craft again, bye.